Kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 2025. Wouldn't that be the same as this year? It could be. And tonight, I'm going to cross that one off. Tonight, we are talking about your ancestors. Hang on, I just hit the wrong button here somewhere. One moment, please. I just got to bring up my notes. Okay, your ancestors and the law. What court records reveal? So, my question to you is, what is the most unusual legal matter your ancestors have been involved in? There have been a lot of court cases over the years, a lot of different legal stuff. Some of them is actually quite amusing, and some of it's kind of like horrifying. And there's just all sorts of really cool stuff out there when it comes to unlocking the legal side of your ancestry. One of the really cool pieces that I have found is my great grand uncle's arrest report for treason in Australia during the Second World War. He was arrested for treason. Yes, and there's a book there called the worst men in Australia. So the worst men in Australia, and he actually had, and each person in this book has their own chapter, and in his chapter, it talks a lot about the different, about him and how much of a tyrant of a landlord he was, how he embezzled money from the Nazis. He was a Nazi sympathizer during World War II. How he in Australia embezzled funds. Hang on, sorry. I just got thrown off track. My brother sending me a message. Hang on. Where was I? Oh, yeah. It was talking about some of the things he did, and it talked about him being arrested and everything else. I actually happened to find a copy of his arrest record. I'm going to see if I can quickly bring it up. I should have thought about this beforehand because it's a really cool, but it's written in pencil. It's written in pencil. Let's see if we can find him. No, I want her side of the family up there. So I'm going to show you a really cool piece of okay, I'm going to the gallery here. Okay, come back over here. Let's do a share screen. This is, it's at the time he was not a very nice person, but we were left with some really cool pieces of information. So this is, let's see, can you guys see that there? Yes, awesome. So this is Lars Gustav Brundle, who is it says right here, great-granduncle. This is my relationship to him. There's a couple of newspaper pieces here, but this is his arrest record, report of prisoner of war. Let's see, we can make this bigger. Yes, zoom in. All right, so this is really interesting. Okay, so it's got his identification number here. His nationality, it says German, claims American. He's actually a New Zealander. He said he was born at sea near California, USA. He was captured in New South Wales now this is in the English way of doing dates. So those of you in America, this is not April the 9th, 1939. It is the 4th of September, 1939. And he was arrested in Bathurst, New South Wales. And he says name of mother unknown. Yes, he actually denies the fact that he knows who his mother is. And this was on the 26th of October, 1939. So that's the report of, it actually says attorneys and it says German up here, which he is not. He is of German descent, but he was not German. He was born in New Zealand. His father does have German in him. This is the front side of that same document. I tell you, this is fascinating stuff. And I think it's on this one here. This is all filled out in pencil. I mean, look at this. So it's got his name here. It's been crossed out a couple of times in here. He said American, then it got changed to German. He was born the 28th of the 12th. Actually, that's interesting because my wedding anniversary is the 28th of the 12th, 1998. That's interesting. I didn't realize his date of birth was then. It's got what his address was, his business address. He said place of California. Place of birth is California. Let's see, what has it got here? Commissioner in Australia for the Keeping Trade Fair. Religion is Lutheran. I don't think they were Lutheran. No, he's probably lied about that too. Place of capture is Sydney. So see here, his date of interment was the 4th of September, 1939. He was released on the 5th of September, 1939. He was rearrested on the 10th of September, 1939. Yes, he was recaptured. So he's got two different occasions here. And from whom received was the police. He was 5'8". He weighed 14 stone, 11 pounds. Complexion was fair. Hair was brown to gray, eyes blue. Scar on the left upper arm. Operation scar on the right side of abdomen. There was also a rumor too that he actually had a diamond in his tooth, but it's not noted here. So we actually wonder if that was just one of those family myths and legends things. It's got the name of his wife there. He's been a resident 25 years in Australia. Date of entry was 1914. So this is all about his arrest thing and everything else. Mother's full maiden name unknown. Record thereof appears on marriage certificate of wife. Interesting. So yeah, that's just, so this is an arrest document showing, or an internment document, because he was an internee. He was not a prisoner of war. And it even says here that he's German. So one of the things that, actually, I think on one of these, it actually tells us. So this is some of the legal stuff you can find. Oh, hang on, let's see. That's the same one as that one. This here is from 18th of, the North Sydney Court, Lars Gustav Brundle, proceeded against Mary Moxley on a charge of assaulting him at North Sydney on August the 9th. Complainant stated he boarded with the defendant, who found fault with the way in which he was using the gas. An altercation took place during which she struck him on the forehead with the gas key. Defendant, who has said she was provoked by Brundle, was fined £3 and 10 shillings, £3 and then £3 10 shillings costs. I think that's 10 shillings. So he was a bit of a bad guy, this guy. In fact, I don't know, does it have it in here? Embassy check and Brundle to pay. Okay, so I don't have the PDF uploaded up here, which shows, which is from, I actually do have a copy of the PDF of the book, but I thought I'd uploaded it there, but I hadn't uploaded it there, because then I could show you some of the stuff that's in there, but it's actually kind of interesting. So let's have a look at, let's go back and have a look now at what things we can find in there. So why we need court records in genealogy is it confirms family relationships, because wills and probate records list heirs, spouses, and extended relatives. You can discover land ownership with deeds and tax records that show where ancestors lived and what property they owned. You can uncover family disputes and lawsuits. Some records reveal lawsuits over inheritance, divorce, or unpaid debts. Find criminal history, arrest records, prison logs, and trial transcripts can reveal shocking trial transcripts can reveal shocking surprises. I'm reading from my notes. The brain got, I have to tell you this, you have to excuse me. The brain got scrambled a lot today during my our monthly mastermind meeting. We had a lot of stuff dumped on us, and my to-do list was like, I've actually like halved the to-do list. So I've done most of what's on that to-do. Oh, halved it. I've done half of what was on my to-do list from that, and my brain's still a little scrambled. So please excuse me. You can learn about name changes of citizenship with petitions of name changes or naturalization documents offering clues. And let me tell you about this. The US naturalization documents, when you get to have a look at those naturalization certificates, most of the time when this was, at the time that some of these were done, the husband of the family, or the father of the family, the head of the home, he was the one that would go and apply for citizenship, naturalization, and he would fill out the form. Whoever he named on that form, as far as his spouse went and his children went, automatically got, if he was accepted, they were automatically naturalized under him. It didn't matter if they were born in the US or not at the time. If they were listed on that and he was, when he was naturalized, then they became naturalized through him. It wasn't until years later when women had to get their own certificate of naturalization. Up until then, if their husband was naturalized, they were. And then there's the reverse thing. During the, when was it? I should look this up. I think it was during the late 1800s, even into the early 1900s. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. But if a US woman got married to a man from another country, she lost her US citizenship and became a citizen of the country that he was from. So, for example, if she met a guy who was from Germany and they got married, she immediately lost her US citizenship and became a citizen of Germany under her husband. Yeah. So when he got naturalized in the US, then she was renaturalized as a US citizen. I know, crazy, but that's how it worked at that time. So you can learn change of citizen and investigate mysterious deaths with coroner's reports, can uncover unexpected causes of death, accidents, and even unsolved crimes. If an ancestor suddenly disappeared from records, check legal documents. Some people changed names, moved due to lawsuits, or were declared legally dead. Yes, because they just disappeared altogether, and they were disappeared for a certain number of years, and then they were declared legally dead. The types of records and what they reveal. You've got wills and probate records. They will list heirs, property, and final wishes of the deceased. You can show family relationships, including illegitimate or estranged children may be listed as well. They may indicate social status or wealth based on items bequeathed. And you can usually find wills and probate records in county probate offices, FamilySearch.org, Ancestry.com, and National Archives. And these, of course, for US-based records. Other ones, you'll have different areas to go to as well. And if you go into FamilySearch.org and go to their research wiki, they can tell you exactly where to go for each country, where to go to get these sorts of records from. Then you've got land and property records. They identify ancestors as landowners or renters. They locate where they lived and when they moved. And some disputes show unexpected relatives or business partners. So if there was a dispute over the land, who's disputing the claim on the land and why? And it can show that they were a business partner or that they were a relative that you may not know about, and now you do. Where to find them, you can go to county courthouses, Bureau of Land Management, Ancestry.com, and state archives. Criminal and civil court cases, petty crimes, lawsuits, and even major offenses. Divorce cases often included financial statements and child custody details. Some ancestors sued over business deals, unpaid debts, or inheritance disputes. You'll find them in the state and local archives, newspaper.com for trial coverage, and Fold 3 for military court cases. One thing I forgot under the wills and the probate, if there are children, if the person who is deceased is leaving behind children, there will be in there who is being named as the guardian of the children. So that's another way that you can find out who the children are, as they will be named in there, as they will, because then they'll be named as to who's going to be the legal guardian for them. Name change and naturalization records. Some immigrants legally change their names after arriving in a new country. Naturalization papers confirm birthplaces and migration details. And when they list their spouse, when the husband would list his spouse and the children, he would be putting in there her full name, including her maiden name, what name she was, where she was born, when and where she was born, when and where they got married, and then I'll list all the children that they've had, when and where each of those children were born. Will be on there as well. So yeah, that confirms birthplaces and migration details, because in there it also turns and says when they all arrived in the country. So it could be the husband came ahead, then later on the wife and children came, or it could be they all came together. It's all listed in the naturalization certificate, naturalization application. Look for petitions and court records, especially after wars or immigration waves. And you can find them in National Archives, Family Search, Ellis Island, and immigration records. I'm going to go to Ellis Island. I mean, they've got the coolest website. They really do, for finding things. I keep finding my husband's great uncle in there because he used to tour on, he was a pianist. He was a musician. He used to play the piano on cruise ships. So every time the cruise ship came in, it came in through Ellis Island. So he's in there multiple times. Yeah. And it states there the reason he's coming in is because he was a crewman on a cruise ship. That might explain the blur a bit there. So coroner's reports and inquest records, cause of death for ancestors who died under suspicious or unusual circumstances, can indicate homicide, suicide, workplace accidents, or sudden illness. Sometimes include witness statements, family interviews, and medical examiner details. And if the coroner was not involved, the death certificate will list the cause of death on there. Where you can find them, the county coroner's offices and archives. Most jurisdictions keep records of unusual deaths. Newspapers, many coroner's reports were published in small town papers. Court inquest records. Some deaths required jury inquests, leaving behind legal transcripts. And of course, some of those deaths required jury inquests. You could be looking at murder trials. Or if murder trials will be one. And sometimes with the court inquest, they wouldn't actually have a coroner there, but they would have somebody who had stated this was the cause of death, and the jury would have to yay or nay it. If ancestors' deaths was unexpected, search local newspaper for inquest findings and coroner's reports. I love coroner's reports. I don't have it handy, but I could show you my second great-grandfather's coroner's report that folds out. Yes. He was the one that was identified by one of his workmates because the boots on his feet were made specifically to go around the corns on his feet. Yeah, I know. Crazy details that you'll find. Caused my mum and I to laugh and get frowned at because we're sitting in the National Archives where you didn't talk above a whisper. And even a whisper was too loud. So you imagine two females there sitting there, they read this kind of at the same time and get a case of the giggles. Yes. So how to find court records. So you could start local, visit county courthouses where your ancestors lived. You can search online, try familysearch.org, ancestry.com, and state archives. If it was a federal one, federal courts, then of course you go to the National Archives. You can use newspaper archives. Many trials and legal cases were reported in local newspapers. Look for alternative sources like land deeds, tax records, prison logs, often supplemented missing court records. If your ancestor's case was held at the federal level, check the National Archives or the U.S. Circuit Court records. Overcoming missing court records. You can try these for alternatives. You've got church and parish records. Some early legal disputes, especially wills, were handled by churches. I never knew that till I was researching this, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. Military pension and bounty land claims. These often went through the courts and may list family members. Census and tax records. If court records are missing, check for property tax payments to confirm land ownership. Another thing that you'll find under the bounty land claims is when you're looking at the Bureau of Land. What did I say it was before? Bureau of Land Management, and somebody was given a claim under the military where they were giving land to soldiers that were returning and things like that. It will state on the land record how they got the land, whether they paid for it or whether it was issued to them from the military for the service that they had where they had served the country for the military service. So yes, that will be in there as well. Census and tax records. If court records are missing, check for property tax payments to confirm land ownership. Oral histories of family Bibles. Some legal matters were never officially recorded, but passed down through generations. And you can probably use some of the records above to help confirm that, because the more proof you can have, the more records you can find that support that, the more likely it is to have happened. If an ancestor disappeared from court records, check another jurisdiction. They may have moved to escape legal trouble. Tell you, scrambled brain. One thing that you may want to do too, not only if checking another jurisdiction, but also see where the county line was at that time, and did it move before the court case was heard? That's another one too, because they could still be living in the same house, but they're now in a different county. So did the court records get moved from the old county that they were in to the new county that they were in, even though they're still at the same address? Check for that too. Court records. So the court records checklist is things like, have you checked probate records for wills and heirs? Did you search land deeds for property transfers and disputes? Have you looked for criminal or civil cases in county archives? Have you checked name changes or naturalization records? Have you searched newspaper archives for legal notices and trial coverage? And yes, in the classified section, you will find legal notices there, especially if people were closing down businesses. You'd find stuff like if they were closing a business, it would be announced in the newspaper in the classifieds. So check those areas too. And did you check coroner's reports for unexpected deaths or inquests? And when you find an ancestor in a court record, and you can even find police records as well, they can come up in searches in national archives or county archives and things like that too, depending on where the local law enforcement kept their records. Because as I have found here in the States, there is a lot of law enforcement around here. You've got county sheriffs, you've got city police, town police, you've got state police. What other ones did I miss? And then you've got FBI, CIA, DEA, the firearms one, the alcohol, firearms, and tobacco guys, and then you got the alphabet ones, and then you've got U.S. Marshals, and then you've got the federal police, and it is so confusing. I did a tour in DC one time. I hopped on one of my first times in DC. I did a tour. Paid, I think it was like $30 to go in a van with 9 other people. There was 10 of us in the van. And we got taken on this tour. And as we're going through downtown DC, we're on different roads, and the guide was telling us whether that was under federal police or whether it was under DC police, or if it was under they have a sheriff there? I don't know if they had a sheriff there. It was very confusing. And I said, so if I was having an issue, somebody following me, or I didn't feel safe, and I ran up to a policeman and told him, and I was on federal land, and he was a city policeman, would he be able to help me because I'm on federal land, or did I have to call the federal police? And it was just so confusing. And I'm just sort of like, in New Zealand, we have the New Zealand Police Force. That's it. One end of the country to the other. But here in the States, every state has their own state troopers, or whatever you want to call their state ones. They've got, they've got the highway patrol people. They've got the state troopers. And I'm just sort of in the county and sheriffs and police, and I am just so confused. And I've been here almost 28 years, and I am still confused about the number of law enforcement agencies that there are. So when you're looking up for police reports and things like that, you're going to have to go to the local archives to have a look for that county, for that city, the city archives, the county archives, the state archives, the national archives, to find them in different places. Newspapers are very helpful with this sort of information. And so, when you're looking, there's a lot of different places. Did I get through? Oh, we've been through all of that. Yeah. I got through my notes. So when you're looking, research wiki. If you go to, actually, can we go there right now? I think we can. FamilySearch.org. Doopy 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 doo. Sign in. Da da da. Boom ba dum ba dum bum bum. Okay, so let's go and have a look at this one real quick. Where is the, oh, that one. Yes, that one. Okay, make sure it's on the screen there. Yep, okay. So let's go back over here. All right, so if you come at, this is familysearch.org. It's free to sign up. Everything on their website is free. If anything costs anything, they'll tell you and all that. But if you come up here to search and you come here to research wiki, it's so cool. Then you got to wait a little bit while it goes. So then you come here and you can basically search just about anywhere in the world. And you can click on North America if you want to go there. Hang on. You know, you've got Australia and Oceania, which includes New Zealand and the South Pacific Islands. You've got Asia, which is all this green area here. You've got, including some of Russia. You've got Europe on the blue. So you can say, okay, we're going to go to North America, and we are going to go to down here. Scroll on down to the United States. Click on that, and now which? Let's try Kentucky. I don't know. It just stuck out for me for some reason. So what you have here is that in 1775, Daniel Boone ushered the first settlers into Kentucky along the Wilderness Road through the Cumberland Gap. On July 1st, 1792, Kentucky became the 15th state to join the Union. A large migration into the state occurred around this time, extending into the early 1800s. So you already have, if you've got relatives if you've got ancestors that came from Kentucky, they may have been part of this migration into the state that occurred around the same time, around 1792 into the early 1800s. Originally part of Virginia, the District of Kentucky, Fayette, Jefferson, and Lincoln counties, Kentucky lies to the east, in the east south central region of the United States. The state is currently includes 120 counties and Frankfort as its capital. So here is all the counties. There's a map of the counties. It's a clickable map. So if you know what county you're going to, you can actually go click on the county and have a look at things there. And then it says getting started with research, Kentucky research. You come down here, you've got guided research, step-by-step Kentucky research, 1880 to present. Kentucky descendancy research, how to find birth records, how to find marriage records, how to find death records, and research strategies. You can also come over here. You can see the state flag is here. Again, we've got this information here. Then you can come down record types. Do you want adoptions, Bible records, and all down here, divorce records, immigration, funeral homes, genealogies, and voter records, and all these different areas. Then you've got the background, which is the history of the state, along with gazetas, which are your newspapers, the cultural groups that are found in the area, and local research like archives and libraries, societies, and local family search center. And here's some of the research tools. So you can come into here and let's see. Oh, and then you've got all the counties listed down here as well. All the counties are listed down here in alphabetical order, so you don't have to go and try and find unless you know exactly where they are. So let's go to, let's see, which one should we go to? We'll go to Jefferson County. So we're going into Jefferson County. This now tells us all about Jefferson County, including, notice this box here, known beginning dates for government county records. Births, they had to start, it says statewide registration for births and deaths started in 1911, general compliance by 1917. But if you notice, they actually have birth records that go back to 1852, marriage goes back to 1781, death goes back to 1852, court goes back to 1780, land to 1783, probate 1781, and census 1810. So this is where you can find out when they started recording, even though statewide they weren't required to start recording until 1911 with general compliance by 1917. And notice here it says record loss. So you've got 1905, fire partially destroyed the Jefferson County Courthouse on December 26. Firemen saved the county records. Yay for our firemen. We love our firefighters. And here's also some other suggested thing. But now you've got down here the contents for Jefferson County. So you've got all of the stuff down here that you can go and have a look at. You've got the cities listed here and the towns, the unincorporated communities, and census-designated places as well. And those that are in blue, you can actually click on. So those are all the clickable links. But this is the sort of information that you can find. And here's all the different cemeteries that are in the area as well. And then you got the different census records. Look, they've got a tax list in 1789 tax list. So you can go down here and you can see all the different, here's all the different religion, church records. You've got the Baptist, you've got Christ Church, you've got Episcopal, you've got Evangelical, you've got Roman Catholic, you've got United Church of Christ. So these are all the different ones. Here's all your court records listed right here. So based on what year you're looking in, you've got the court records that you can go and search. They will tell you too. Let's see, I'm trying to see if I can see one real quickly. See, this here says online at Family Search Digital Library. And so you can click this little arrow here and it will take you to that. Some of them will actually mention other sites. Oh, down here. So it's got directories for Louisville, Jefferson County directory. It's at Ancestry. And see the dollar mark here means that there is some information is free, but this one you'll have to pay for. Here's the Louisville City directories. There are at fold 3. This one's on Ancestry. This is on Ancestry. This is on Ancestry. So it actually tells you where you can go to get the information if it is available online. If something is not available online, it will have information how to obtain the records or how to search the records, whether you actually have to go there and search them in person or if there's a number that you can call or if there's a place that you can call. These here are all the different funeral homes that were in the area. Then you have all the, and see this one even here says Facebook. All different genealogies. These are all the different last names for genealogies that have been done in the area. Land and property records, stuff we've just been talking about. So you can go down there and check, and it even shows you where Jefferson is. So you can see the neighboring counties right there next to Indiana. And then you've got the different regiments that have come out of Jefferson County. So as you can see, this is very extensive on what you can find. And this is on familysearch.org. You go to the search button and then you go down to Research Wiki. And this gives you all of this information based on the state and county that you are looking for. So that is a really cool resource to have. I love going into the Research Wiki because I never know what I'm going to find. What records I'm going to find based on who am I looking for. And it even gives you stuff for other countries as well. So, if you're looking for English records, it will divide it up by county. So you'll go to the England, you go to the UK page, it will divide it up by Scotland, Wales, Cornwall, and England. And then it turns around and gives you the different counties, and you can click on the counties and go in there and you can find out where all the records are kept. So it's a very, very cool research tool. So make use of that. And to sign up for familysearch.org is completely free. It's free. And you can put your family tree up there. And there's a whole bunch of information that they have that may not be available at places like Ancestry, but it is, if you're wanting to do your research, dive into your research, this is another great resource that you have at your fingertips that you can go and have a look at. And on familysearch.org, you can actually go in there and you can set up a time to talk to a genealogist. And I think it's like a half-hour call that they do. And I think they do it on Zoom now. I haven't used it for a while, but I would tell you this, it is an amazing resource. It is a free resource that you can go and you can have a one-on-one call for 30 minutes with a genealogist at the Family Search Library in Salt Lake City, Utah, from the comfort of your own home. And they can have a look at your tree, maybe give you some guidelines on where to go next. Or if there's certain records that you need them to look up because they're not available online, they can look up those records for you. And if based on and this is why you need to talk to people like this, is because some of the records that are held in some of the libraries and archives and all of that have a copyright on them that they cannot be copied, they cannot be scanned. And that's why some records are online and some you've got to go and see in person. So they will be able to tell you if they have that record there, yes, but you have to come to the library to see it. Or it could be, the copyright could be that one of their librarians can go and look up the information for you and send it to you. Whether they can scan it and send it to you or whether they can copy it and send it to you, that's dependent on the copyright. Or it could be that they have to transcribe it for you and send it to you that way. Or you just have to go there in person and arrange a visitor's day, arrange a day to be in the library there. And they actually have on the website, if you're planning a visit, to go to the library in Salt Lake City, exactly what you need to do as far as, come prepared, have, notepads and paper. They have workstations there. And I got to, one of the genealogy courses I did Family History did a huge presentation on the resources available at the library there in Salt Lake City, and they showed photographs because there was a lot of damage that was done to the library in what was it? What was the cause of that one? I can't think what the cause was now, but they had an incident where some of the library was damaged and they had to redo the library. So they took that opportunity to renovate the library, take away a lot of the dark, dusty, shelvy areas that they had, and create these beautiful open air spaces that are light and bright. I mean, they showed us the before and then they showed us the after. Huge difference. Huge difference. They went from being these, some people think of old library archives where you got the stacks and they're dark and kind of dingy and that sort of thing, to these beautiful open spaces, well lit. They actually have these workstations there, and at the workstation, you've got a place you can plug your computer in. They actually have a scanning machine, a scanner thing right there. It's got a little arm that comes up and looks like a little lamp, and it's got the eye is up here, and you can put the book under there to scan the thing, and it's really cool setup. I still need to go and see it in person, but they took us on a tour through the library and everything else, and then there's different areas that you can go to based on the country that you are looking for. There's all these different levels, and they took us through the different levels. And what was interesting is when I was in Salt Lake City with my parents in 2019 on our huge, massive trip that we did in the RV, we got there and it was a Sunday, and we couldn't go into the library because it wasn't open. It was just the lobby area that was open, so you could go in and find out what it was all about. But we did a tour of the whole grounds of the Mormon Tabernacle area that they had, the whole grounds. And one of our guides was actually a New Zealander, which was kind of cool. And so when I was telling her I was going to be doing this research, and she said, whereabouts are you researching? I says, England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, Cornwall, New Zealand. She says, basement level 3. Yeah. That's where she told me to go, because that's where all that stuff is held. All the records for that area is held there. So I was sort of like, that's kind of cool. But yeah, huge amount of resources out there. You just got to go looking for them. If you have any questions, you can private message us here, and we'll be happy to help you, direct you into the right area. But go to familysearch.org, sign up for a free account, and use the resources that they have, because they have some pretty cool resources. And with that, we are out of here. Did I give you your question of the day? I don't remember, did I? What is the most unusual legal matter your ancestors have been involved in? Yes. So that's your question for the day. With that, we are out of here. So go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we will catch you guys back here tomorrow.